His early life. George Pullman was born March 3, 1831 and passed away at the age of 66. Pullman was born into a low-income family and grew up in Brockton, New York. Pullman's parents moved to work on the Erie Canal in Albion. He took over his family's business at the age of 22, which provided transportation for buildings and structures. Pullman's rise to power. Pullman established his own company in Chicago. He raised the Briggs House and the block of Lake Street to help control flooding and install modern sewer systems. However, the company became insignificant as new buildings improved to better foundations, pushing Pullman's interest into the railroad industry. He started a company that built luxury sleeper carts that not only met people's needs, but were also luxurious. The first sleepers were instantly a success. Pullman's industry. Pullman created luxury carts that were equipped with onboard beds, dining carts, and fine decor. These cars corrected the sanitary and comfortability problems of passengers. His return to Chicago led to the newest introduction of Pullman carts, the Springfield and the Pioneer. The cars were often met with praise and attracted investors. Pullman developed the President and the Delamico, sleeper carts that were also restaurants. With delicious food and services, riding on Pullman carts became traveling in first class. In 1868, the partnership with Field fell through, leading way to the creation of the Pullman Palace Car Company. The company scared competitors out of the industry and even bought some out. After Lincoln's assassination, Pullman offered his sleeper car to transfer Lincoln's body. This gained him the attention of Andrew Carnegie, who became his largest investor. Pullman averted from the methods of previous railroad companies, especially in the way that his cars were leased instead of bought. This broadened the company's market to railroads who necessarily didn't have the means to buy. At the time of his death, the company was recorded to be worth $62 million. Pullman, Illinois. The increase of popularity of Pullman carts called for a greater demand. This meant more would need to be developed in factories, which in turn meant more workers. Pullman bought 4,000 acres near his factories to make way for a town that would be designated for his workers. With essentials like housing and food, Pullman was seen as a hero of kindness and created a solution to the common problem of labor unrest and poverty. However, the quality of the housing reflected a social hierarchy among the workers. Freestanding homes are given to skilled workers, tenements to the unskilled, and common laborers were only allowed rooming houses. Pullman had declared himself as the dictator among all of this, restricting any type of social activity in the terms of open conversations or meetings. Conditions worsened for the workers as wages were cut with the same price for rent. In the end, Pullman, Illinois saw a profit of $5 million. The Pullman Strike of 1894. The Depression of 1893 forced Pullman to cut down the wages of his workers, while keeping the rents the same. The workers were furious as it was partly impossible to live off the money they were making. The first group of workers that looked to voice their grievances were fired. In May of 1894, Pullman workers decided to strike and look upon the American Railroad Union for assistance. In June, Eugene V. Debs ordered a boycott on ARU members that forced them to stop any business with the Pullman Company. The switchmen proved to be the most crucial in this boycott, as it resulted in their firing, which halted the railroads. By late June, strike numbers raised violently to the tens of thousands in Chicago. Federal judges issued an order that encouraged the militia to be called to end the strikes, since they were stopping all the mail service and interstate trade. President Cleveland acted on this order and sent about 2,500 troops to resume railroad services, creating devastation that saw the death of some workers. On July 20th, the troops were called back and the Pullman Company was open again. The workers that had striked were rehired, but were forced to sign a pledge that ordered them to never be associated with any type of union again. Ultimately, the terror caused by workers had cost the railroads millions of dollars. Captain of Industry or Robert Barron. George Pullman could be seen as captain of industry because he revolutionized travel in the railroad industry in America. Pullman impacted the big business, which developed more job opportunities, helping the economy. After the Depression of 1893, he cut the wages of his workers, increased the rent for his apartments, and escalated working hours. The acts of corruption in the railroad industry caused workers to be unable to pay rent, and eventually workers decided to strike in the Pullman Strike of 1894.